Welcome to the Enter Universum Setup and Gameplay Guide. This guide will teach you how to set up the game and the fundamental aspects of gameplay. Section 1, the box and game components. Inside the game box, you will find 12 team indicators, 3 each of blue, green, red, and yellow. 15 black Conjure icon pieces, 15 Conjure cards, 15 Lifeline protocol cards, 48 each of gray and white damage counters, and 1 game board. Set up the board and lay out all of the components. Section 2, setting up the game. First, players must decide the turn order. This can be decided however you wish, but we recommend the die method. Each player rolls a die, and the player with the highest roll goes first. The turn order goes clockwise around the table from the player going first. In turn order, players then decide which color they want to be out of red, green, blue or yellow, and take the pieces that represent their chosen color. Next, lay out all of the Conjure cards, grouped into their classes. Conjures can be one of 3 classes: offense, defense, or support. Offensive Conjures are your primary means of dealing damage, defensive Conjures serve to mitigate damage off of their allies, and supportive Conjures seek to empower their allies. Each class has 5 Conjures each. Players may choose to lay out the Conjures either face down or face up. If face down, the chosen Conjures are random. If face up, you choose the Conjures you want. We recommend face down for inexperienced players, and face up for experienced players. In turn order, players then choose their Conjures. Players can choose their Conjures in any order of class, but must end up with one of each. Each Conjure has a standard card and a Lifeline protocol. You will need both cards for each Conjure. Lifeline protocols will be explained later. Next, pick up the corresponding black icon pieces for your chosen Conjures. You can find the icon of a specific Conjure in the top right corner of each Conjure card, to the left of the barcode. Take the icon pieces and place them into the colored team indicators you picked up earlier. These are the pieces you will play with on the board. Take your 3 pieces and place them in the 3 cornermost tiles of your chosen side of the board. You may choose which of your Conjures goes on which tile. Section 3, Actions, Movement, Attacks, and Abilities. Each player gets 5 actions to spend per turn. Actions can be spent on attacks, movement, and abilities. It is entirely up to the player how they divide up and spend their actions. It costs 1 action to move 1 tile, and you may move as many tiles as you wish. You may not move 1 tile diagonally. Instead, you must move 2 tiles to move diagonally, thus spending 2 actions, as the video demonstrates. Each Conjure has a range of attacks and abilities. Attacks are conveyed in red text, and abilities are conveyed in green text. Each attack and ability has a cost, an area of effect, a damage total if applicable, and an effect. For example, the hero has an attack called Dreamblade, which costs 3 actions to use, and deals 40 base damage to the target. The additional effect of this attack is that it deals 10 damage to all remaining enemies in proximity. Attacks can only hit multiple targets if the attack effect states that it can. You cannot deal damage to allies unless the attack effect states that you can. You may also use as many attacks and abilities per turn as you wish, so long as you have the actions to spend. You may also decide to not spend any of your actions on a turn if you wish. Some Conjures, such as Spectre, have a passive ability, which is conveyed in blue text. Passive abilities do not have a use cost, as they are always active. In Spectre's case, its passive ability Voidwalker allows its allies in proximity to move an additional tile for free between them per turn. The area of effect of an attack or ability is indicated by the number of illuminated squares above the attack or ability on the card. If there are no squares illuminated, there is no area of effect. This is typically only for attacks or abilities that only affect the user themselves. If there is 1 square illuminated, the area of effect is 3 by 3 tiles around the user. If there are 2 squares illuminated, the area of effect is 5 tiles by 5 tiles around the user. If there are 3 squares illuminated, the area of effect is 7 by 7 tiles around the user. If there are 4 squares illuminated, the area of effect is 9 by 9 tiles around the user, and if there are 5 squares illuminated, the area of effect is infinite, meaning you can use the attack or ability anywhere on the board. You can only influence conjures with an attack or ability if they are within the given area of effect. Some attacks or abilities have an area of effect, but can be used regardless of the user's position. For example, Destiny's Chronal Rift has a 3 by 3 area of effect, but this 3 by 3 area can be placed anywhere on the field. Attacks and abilities can only be used this way if it states that it can be on the card. Section 4. Attacking an opponent and recording damage. In this example, we will look at Construct and Belief specifically, who are highlighted on screen. In this situation, Construct is in range of Belief's Repentance attack, which deals 30 damage to a target in a 5 by 5 area of effect around Belief. If the player attacks Construct, they would have used 3 of their 5 available actions, and would have dealt 30 damage to Construct. This damage is indicated by damage counters. In this instance, we would place 3 white damage counters, which represent 10 damage each, next to Construct, for a total of 30 damage. If Belief were to attack Construct again on the next turn, Construct would have taken 60 damage. To indicate this, we place down 1 gray damage counter, which represents 50 damage, and 1 white damage counter, for 60 damage total. At this point, Construct is left with 90 health remaining. If a conjure's health drops to 0, they are eliminated. To indicate this, simply turn over the conjure and their lifeline protocol. Section 5. Lifeline Protocols and Winning. If you lose 2 of your conjures, your remaining conjure is granted access to its lifeline protocol. Lifeline protocols are extremely powerful attacks and abilities that can easily turn a game on its head. Lifeline protocols function like normal attacks and abilities, and you can use them as you wish on top of the conjure's existing abilities. However, lifeline protocols cannot be impacted in any way. Their damage and effects cannot be boosted, negated, or redirected in any way. If you lose all 3 of your conjures, you are eliminated. If 3 players lost all 3 of their conjures, the last player standing is crowned the winner.